The sound of fists clashing would echo through the forest. As Naruto and Tsuki would be running through the clearing, they'd suddenly see the sun breaking through the tree line of the Shikotsu Forest. When suddenly an explosion would be heard as a tree gets ripped out of its roots and chucked at the two of them. Naruto would yell out for Tsuki as he grabs her, jumping into the air and using a wind spell, pushing him above the tree as it goes slamming into the forest behind him, causing the tree line behind him to completely creak in on itself, snapping branches and ripping through the smaller trees. Once Naruto's eyes had adjusted to the sunlight, he looked up to see that once he had broken through that forest into this clearing, that the ground had become more mud-like, like a marsh. All around him were these weird slime secretions. He quickly realized this must be the center of the forest where the famous Lady Katsuyu lives, the giant slug that is contracted with Tsunade, the lady that old guy had told him about. That guy, what was his name? Oh, yeah, it was the sage of Mount Miyaboku, Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes would recenter as he and Tsuki watch as we see a blonde woman with a large chest using her fist to rip trees from the ground in her surrounding area as she's trying to shatter these strange panes of ice. As Naruto narrows his focus a little more, he'd notice that there's actually someone moving between them. A thin, slender shinobi with a strange mask on their face. This is when Naruto would hear this blonde woman saying, "You bastards! If you don't give me back Shizune, I'll kill you all!" Well, that's terrifying, he'd think. This has got to be her. After his quick glance over of Haku, he looked to the left, seeing a sickly, thin... Wait. This presence. It's him. This is the guy. This has got to be the person who's been poisoning this forest. The moment that he reached here, this strange chakra, this black energy that Sasuke had seen of his eyes, it was emanating off this guy. It was so strong that he could see it with his own eyes, without any type of dojutsu at all. Suddenly, the thin, sickly guy would say something. It's like you haven't even been listening to what I've been saying. I said your assistant's fine. Now fix me. If you quit resisting and just fix me, then everything will be alright. Do you understand, Slug Princess? At this point, who Naruto now knows as Lady Tsunade would purse her lips, saying, "Well, if you hadn't taken Shizune against my will, and maybe asked nicely, maybe with some money in your hand, maybe I would have considered helping you. But now, screw you. You can go die for all I care. You'd have to be an idiot to threaten a Sanin like myself." At this point, Naruto would insert himself, saying, "Tsuki," as he then points his hand forward with her tails glowing a bright blue, blasting Kitsune fire towards this sickly middle-aged man. He'd turn around, sweeping his hand, saying, "Stay away." Naruto would feel a chill up his spine, as his chakra that he had sent through Tsuki would be completely eradicated, the flames having been deleted from existence. It wasn't absorbed. The flames themselves were completely gone. Naruto would take a step back, never having felt anything like this before, as he tells Tsuki to be wary. This is when Null would turn, asking who the hell you are, some associate of Tsunade? Naruto would grin at this, saying, "Actually, she was recommended to me by one of her friends, the Toad Sage." To this, Tsunade would turn, saying, "Jiraiya sent you?" Naruto would give a quick nod, saying that he has two other members of his team, but they're currently dealing with someone in the forest. To this, Haku would freeze. With a split instant, Tsunade would use a punch into the ice mirror that Haku was in, shattering it and punching Haku out of the ice mirrors, ending the jutsu as Haku would get sent flying into a tree, with Haku coughing as the mask cracks. Naruto would grin, saying his friends will be here any minute, telling Tsunade that he can help her get rid of this guy, gesturing to Null. To this, Tsunade would hold her hand up, saying that she'll deal with her own issues, saying this guy's gotta pay for what he's been doing here. Tsunade would go on to explain that this weirdo, Null, had one day shown up at Shikotsu Forest, threatening Katsuyu and her segments, using his weird chakra to damage the forest in such a way that it was irreversible to fix, the edges of the forest already having begun to rot away from the decay. Null would cry out at this, saying he didn't mean to hurt anyone, saying that there's nothing he can do about this. It's always been like this. I thought that... He'd hold his hand. Blood would be covering it as he sighs, saying, "It's getting worse." To this, Naruto would be puzzled, asking, what is he talking about? Wondering if this strange affliction could be solved with magic. Null would laugh, saying that it's a disease that he was given, passed to him as a child. There's nothing he's been able to do about it. It's been a curse on him for his entire life. a curse of decay. It's at this point that Tsunade and Naruto would listen to his backstory, as you do with Naruto villains, with Null explaining his past, saying that he had grown up in the grass village, his father having only ever made it to the rank of Chunin, and his mother having been, well, scared off, let's say, from her alcoholic husband. Null had always been somewhat talentless too, with him never having even really graduated from the academy, just having stopped going. He would explain that once he had been living at home with his parents, before his mom left, that one day someone had shown up. The man who ruined his life forever. And all for the sake of money. Null would walk over to a patch of grass that still had some life left in it, saying, just watch, as he takes his hand and places it on the ground. Naruto would suddenly feel a chill again, as if though the cries of the soul of this chakra was dying, watching as the grass itself would wilt and wither away, the energy, the natural energy within it, having been decimated. Suki would growl as this black energy would coil around the man, black tendrils of this anti-chakra following him. Naruto would tell Suki to stay back as he walks towards this Null, telling Tsunade that he's going to try something. You said this curse was placed on you by someone else, right? He'd laugh at this. No, I found it one day and decided to take it home with me. Naruto would roll his eyes, saying enough with the sarcasm, making a deal with Tsunade, saying that if he can fix this Null, would she be willing to accept her assistant back in exchange and let everyone go home alive? Well, except for Zabuza, who was just murked by Sasuke and Gaara, like, in the forest, and Haku, who's currently has internal bleeding, so I guess just the three of them. But regardless, Tsunade would agree, saying she's pissed off, but if this will resolve everything, she sees no need to see any blood today, with her being thankful that Haku had internal bleeding, considering Tsunade in this timeline is still terrified of blood and has not resolved her issues with Dan or anyone else yet. In fact, the only reason that Tsunade was here in Shikotsu Forest and not in some gambling town like Jiraiya had thought is because of Null, with Null having already been attacking the Shikotsu Forest back when Naruto was traveling north in the Land of Hot Water, investigating Hidan. Tsunade had been called by Katsuyu, with her explaining to her contractor what was going on in Shikotsu Forest, and her and Chizune subsequently having to reverse summon there, and having been dealing with this for the last few months. Naruto would slowly approach Null, telling Suki to stay back, as he reaches his hand out as close as possible without touching him, saying that he's going to try something. Naruto explained that he's going to use his Tracer spell, a spell that basically links the energy from someone to another person. He'd tried doing this with Hidan, hence why he had gone to the Land of Hot Water in the first place, but unless you can find something either owned by that person or with their energy or their chakra in it, it's practically impossible to use. It was only used ever in his village to find hunters who had been lost for a few weeks, but unless you had a personal connection with that person or something close to their energy, there was basically no way it could be used to track someone efficiently. Hence why he gave up quickly on that idea and decided to look for information instead when he was there. Naruto closes his eyes, feeling this repulsive energy as he casts the spell, hoping that it doesn't cancel it out. Naruto would wince in pain, having to use more chakra than he's ever thought he would have to use for this little spell, just to actually make the connection with Null, for his anti-chakra not to overpower it. Suddenly Naruto would open his eyes, seeing a trail of energy trailing from Null directly to him. Wait, what? Why is it attaching to me? Naturally, Naruto would panic, wondering what the hell is going on. Null would be confused, wondering if this is part of what his fix for him was. Naruto would step back as the light would trail him as he starts running around the marsh, getting mud all over his shoes, with him being only more confused. Null would yell out, asking, "What the hell is this?" as his anti-chakra would surge up, killing the connection and ending the spell. Naruto would fall over, basically pulling himself out of the mud and saying that it looks like his spell failed, because for some reason when he tried tracing that strange aura of anti-chakra around him, the spell traced back to myself. I'd never seen this before, ever. I'm pretty sure I did it right. Maybe your condition is able to reflect things as well as destroy them. That would be my guess. Sorry about that. I really thought I had a way to find whoever did this to you. But even so, why would that chakra connect itself to me? This would only cause Null to feel immense anger. His personality having already been warped by the corrosive nature of Anti-chakra, Null's emotions were always running high. This had done nothing more than piss him off, as Null says that this was meaningless, saying that he just meant to mock him, as Naruto holds his hand up saying, wait, there was no reason for me to... Null's use of Anti-chakra is unrefined, poor, and lazy, but what he has is a hell of a lot of it. He'd slam his fist down to the ground as the entire area around this marsh would begin to die. Katsuyu whispering and appearing behind Lady Tsunade, saying that they need to stop him now. He's killing the entire forest. Tsunade would grit her teeth, saying, we can talk about Jiraiya later. For now, this is the end. But before you kick the bucket, you better tell me where Shizune is. I'm not telling you a damn thing. Null would run towards Naruto, throwing a fist. The anti-chakra, while having basically no form at all, still hitting Naruto's chakra, causing him to go flying as Suki would falter for a second, almost falling over from the hit. Naruto would call Suki to him, feeling the pain on his skin as he already feels himself bruising. For a guy so thin, that stuff sure packs a punch. Naruto would get up, realizing that he can't get close to him, as he begins using long-range spells, telling Null that he didn't want to fight him, saying he's sorry, he thought he could help him. Naruto would grit his teeth, saying that he doesn't want to be like them. In his mind, Naruto would think about the Raikage, about Hidan, and them. Those monsters with red clouds. The Akatsuki. But enough of that. Fine, let's rumble. Naruto would jump into the air, using flames as he throws a wave of blue fire towards Null, engulfing him in a pillar. Null would scream out as black energy would race up the pillar, obliterating the flames. Null would pull his fist back, screaming, as the anti-chakra would move to his whim, forming into a large black wave. As he swipes his hand forward, the energy moving forward like a vibration through the air. Naruto would feel a bone-cutting chill as he holds his arms out in front of him and tells Suki to pump everything they've got. Naruto would cast the wind spell Boreas, using the strongest wind ability he has to try and push him and Suki out of the way, if not negate this anti-chakra wave. The wave would go past Naruto, breaking through the wind completely and eradicating the spell as it shatters into the trees behind him. The entire corner of the forest hit by this immediately dying as a wave of this black energy goes crashing out of Shikotsu Forest and down to the countryside below. It's at this point in the fight that Sasuke and Gaara would show up, with Sasuke having dragged Zabuza with him as a potential hostage in his chakra threads. Sasuke would look up seeing Naruto fighting this sickly thing guy, telling Naruto to hear as he shoots out a chakra thread, catching him and Suki and pulling him down back to the ground. Suki would yip as Naruto would grin, saying, "Thanks, Sasuke." Naruto would turn back to Tsunade, giving her a nod as the two run forward, with them both now fighting against Null. Null with one hand would catch Tsunade's palm, deleting her transformation jutsu as her skin would appear more wrinkled. Naruto would scream, thinking he can age people, as he throws a kick at Null, kicking him in the face and breaking his nose. However, when the blood comes spurting out, this is where Tsunade's heart would falter, with Naruto thinking that she must have been hit by the anti-chakra, disabling her. Naruto would thrust out his hand, using the power of the sun, as a burning flame would engulf Null, even burning his flesh before the anti-chakra can kill the flames. Sasuke would run around using his chakra threads and catching Null's arms, feeling his threads thinning as they almost snap immediately, wondering what the hell is up with this guy. As he activates his Sharingan, he'd be horrified, seeing a mass of black energy, like black hands coiling around him. It was as if though some entity was tracing itself around this guy. Sasuke would feel himself beginning to hurl as he turns off his Sharingan, saying he can't bear to look at it, telling Naruto they need to finish him quickly. Gaara would shoot sand bullets, which were actually really effective, with the anti-chakra still disabling the chakra but not erasing the sand. The physicality of the sand still existing and pummeling into Null as bullets, shattering his bones and ripping through his flesh. Haku and Zabuza would watch in horror as Naruto raised his hand to the sky, his palm almost falling under the sun as a blue ball of flame would appear, as he yells that it's over, saying he's sorry, that it had to end like this. As Naruto is falling back towards the earth, Null would look up to him, seeing his face. Clearly, really for the first time, as he realizes throughout the 11 solar cycles there is but one sun. Within that sun there is one light. With him. Within that one light, I saw you is her kindness. With that bastard! You were his apprentice! Sundown! A blast of sunlight, This energy compressing into Naruto's hand would appear as he blasts Null with the power of the sun. Reading through the entire chant of the spell, Naruto would obliterate Null. Not even bones would remain, as the chakra inside of him, the anti-chakra, would burst out like black snakes appearing into the sky as they would wither away under Naruto's light. The anti-chakra and Null's life fading away as he would pass on into the next life. And with Null's defeat, comes time for Tsunade's end of the deal. Tsunade would ask Naruto how he met Jiraiya, asking why he had sent him to her. Naruto would say it can all wait until after they find her assistant, learning that her name was Shizune, as he then says that they can make these two talk, looking over to Zabuza and Haku, who were both conscious, alive, and tied up, with Gaara and Sasuke watching both of them. Naruto had turned looking down at the two of them, asking who they are and what's their deal with that Null guy, saying that if they want revenge then they'll have to take him out first. Zabuza would laugh, saying he'd never go for revenge over a customer, explaining that he had just been a hired blade for that scumbag, telling Naruto he doesn't care that he's dead, just that he already got paid for the job. Naruto would consider this for a moment, saying it's probably right to let them go, but if they attack them then he'll show them no mercy. And before you do, he'd point a finger at them, saying that he wants to know where Shizune is. Haku would volunteer, saying that they'll guide them to Shizune, and once they confirm that she's safe, asking to let the two of them go. Zabuza would scoff, saying that they can't even be useful tools, laughing at Haku and saying this job was a bust, huh? Naruto would sigh as he unties Haku, telling them to come with him, asking her if she has any issues with that. Haku would raise his hand, explaining that he is actually a boy. Naruto, Gaara, Sasuke, and even Tsunade would fall over at this, with all of them being shocked, asking if they're really serious. Tsunade would cry, saying that such a beautiful face wasted. Haku would pull their mask back down, as he says that no, it's okay, seriously, please stop looking at me with pity. Prior to guiding Tsunade and Naruto to that same tree base that I mentioned in the last episode, where they had been attempting to feed Null apples with Zabuza's sword before he kicked the bucket today. You know, since his anti-chakra kills everything alive, and basically all food has chakra of energy in it, so he basically was on the brink of starvation for his entire life. Upon confirming that Shizune was untouched, Shizune would be awake with a gag in her mouth, screaming as she sees Tsunade and jumping up and down in the base, with her saying she was so scared and thanks for saving me, with tears in her eyes. With that, Naruto would agree to free Zabuza and Haku, telling them to get out of this forest and never come back. Suki growling and yipping at them, was Zabuza putting his arm over Haku as the two would walk with each other out of the forest. Zabuza would laugh, saying, even though this job paid higher, that jutsu that kid used on me hurt like hell. Little bastard. We'll have to kill him if we see him ever again, huh? What was that other job we were offered? By that mafia guy. Do you mean that mobster Gato? Yes, that was him. Where was that again? Oh, it was the Land of Waves. And so, Zabuza and Haku would head towards the Land of Waves, with Zabuza slowly recovering as the two would work on their next job, with a bridge slowly beginning to be constructed, and that angering a certain mobster. But it looks like that'll be an issue for some shinobi team out there to have to deal with. Back to our heroes though. Tsunade would thank Naruto and the rest of his team for helping save the Shikotsu Forest from Null and his anti-chakra, explaining the harassment that she'd been enduring from him, and glad that Shikotsu Forest was now safe for Katsuya to return to and live in again. Though she doesn't know if the parts of the forest that were affected would ever recover, saying only that time will tell. It was after this that Naruto's discussion with Tsunade about training to overcome the immortality jutsu of Hidan would begin.
It's done. Project Warlock stage has been set for Phase 3.
Oh, has it now? Excellent work. And he made sure to use my name when you were giving it to him. His gift for this one. right?
So, what's next? Are we going after the Demi?
Remind me again, Naruto. When was it exactly that I gave you the permission to issue your own orders?
Huh?
Shh. It's almost time. It's almost time. It's almost time. Now, would you be my
I understand. I won't do it again, I swear.
Maybe I should go with a bird's opening. Or a Dutch defense. No. No, I'm
Zanki,
definitely a fool's mate.
Master?
That would only
Who
be
are you
too
talking
fitting
to?
for you.
No one else is here.
Yes, you're quite right. There is no one here. No, your next mission will not be to go after the demigod. He's far beyond you in terms of power, for now. First, I need you to get a little something. But really, it's a gift for yourself. Or you should consider it that. You'll be going after a Rinnegan.
Rinnegan? So I'm fighting the sage, huh? Alright.
Not just any Rinnegan. Only the strongest one that I possibly could have made for you, my little apprentice. It's going to be quite the show.